So we're moving into the last month of the retreat. Is to be taking note of that, and recognizing that the opportunity is imminent. It is. We have the opportunity to be in this period of winter retreat and to use it skillfully. In reality, the conditions are more than conducive, more than suitable, and to bringing that to mind, and we've been. The theme of the retreat has been on the Buddha's life, or the recollection of the Buddha's life, and of course, when we do that, then it's the Buddha's teachings. And what did the Buddha teach? What did he point to? And I think one of the most brilliant, inspiring aspects of the Buddha's teachings is that he pointed to what is ordinary, what's around us, what is nearby to us. Pointing to this fundamental truths and nature of our existence, the nature of our experience, so that just looking at let's say, like the basis of insight, or basis of understanding. As like one of the chants that we do, just recollecting the impermanent, unsatisfactory, non-self nature of things. Sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Sabbe sankhara dukkha. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. Sabbe dhamma anatta. All things are not self. And when one sees with wisdom, then one is kind of tires of the suffering. One tires of the tedious nature of the impermanent, unsatisfactory, non-self nature of all conditioned things, all things, and when one tires of it, then that is the path to purity. There's this word nibbindati is a say disenchantment, um, uh, dispassion sometimes. I was listening to a talk of Ajahn Sonas, and he was using the word dismay. It's just a sense of dismay at the um, that just that sense of when things are so insubstantial. Um, why do we keep following for it? Why do we keep buying into it? And why do we keep suffering? So it's a sense of dismay, not in a confused and miserable way, but a sense of like a sobering, disenchantment, and that's and it's just looking at the Buddha points to the things around us, things close to us, our bodies, the um, the nature of the human body is um, to be born, to age, to get sick, and finally to die, and to be reflecting on that. And again, that's not it's not a problem in that I mean it's nature, um, and but it's a problem when we expect it to be something else, something other than that, and or when we try to cover it over, run away from that fundamental truth. So then that's that is the actual problem. The problem is not that say all conditioned things are impermanent, all conditioned things are unsatisfactory, all things are not self. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can't. It's just that is. It's like this. And it's one of the in the say one of the words that the Buddha uses, tattva, such. Sometimes it's translated as suchness, um, um, and but it and that that's it's just like this. That's the nature of things. Things are this way, and the way of insight and clarity is to reflect on it, and then that's why we use the body as, again, taking the ordinary, taking our ordinary circumstance of having a body, having a mind, and paying attention to its limitations, its the there's that limitation of its just the cycles it goes through. It gets hungry, it gets tired, it gets sick, and it's not the place to be looking for eternal peace and liberation. I mean, it's we have a body, but you're never going to have a perfect body. We have minds. You're never going to have a perfect mind. I mean, it's like this. It's just this way. The mind has has a function to perceive, to feel, to assess, to consider, and to and we are in contact with the world around us, and through our senses of, say, the body and the mind, that we experience the world through sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and the objects of the mind, and it's through that we we build our, let me say, build the world we live in. And oftentimes we feel that say, the world impinges on us, or that the world is such and such a way, but it's how we respond to it, how we react to it, how we what we because we can live in a very, say, a world that is filled with fear, and there's all sorts of reasons for it, but it's what we build, what we respond, or it's a world that is one's irritated and upset by all the time, and there's all sorts of logical reasons for that, but in the end, one has to recognize that's what we're doing that, or the world is this incredibly fascinating, scintillating, desirable world that we're chasing after for gratification and satisfaction, and so we live in a world of desire, but that is so those are kind of responses, as opposed to we build that world when we think, well, what kind of world we want to live in, and I think all of us that are here are here because we do want to live in a peaceful and harmonious world, and of course that's what we need to be attending to. That's what we need to be giving importance to, and it's something that we can do. It's not beyond anybody's capability. So that sense of paying it, but in order to do that, again, it's important to be reflecting on what is close to us. What is the nature of our experience? What's the nature of the body? That's why the Buddha has us contemplate it. One, it's the most tangible and most apparent. Say the least slippery and devious. That is our mind can be very, very slippery and devious, but the body is a bit more. Again, the sense of its tangible nature. It is these four material elements, and they keep they keep shifting and changing, and they keep displaying themselves in different ways of getting hot, getting cold, getting comfortable, getting uncomfortable, getting a sense of they display themselves in different ways of whether they're tall or short or fat or thin or young or old and male or female. I mean, or whatever range there is. I mean, it's just this is all those are all manifestations of on the material realm, and there is constantly changing. Sambe sankhara anicca, and they are changing and uncertain and sambe sankhara, all compounded things are unsatisfactory, dukkha, and the sabbe dhamma anatta, all things are not self. So that one can't, if it and the Buddha just makes this premise of if it were really self, then one should at least be able to have some kind of control over it. But we can't say, don't get old, don't get sick, don't change on me, don't disappoint me. It's not possible to do that. So it's that reflecting on the limitations of the body, reflecting on these four material elements. They're like this. The body is like this. It has its limitation, and it experiences its aging and kind of the discomfort of and when it's say when a human body is younger, then it although that's not a sure thing either. I'm just going to say, it tends to be more comfortable, but it's not a sure thing either. Lots of younger people experience illness and have various ailments, but that's and certainly as one gets older, then that is it's impossible to can prop up the illusion. Just it isn't possible. There's this just reflecting on the limitations of the body, and when you've got something with so many moving parts, and when it says they say any material thing or any machine that is you got all sorts of moving parts. Something's going to go wrong. It's just by its very nature. Even with something that is not even really alive, like a building. I remember Ajahn Chah, said, be careful what you build because you have to look after it. So that there's I can, I've been in so many building committee meetings, and um, we'd come up, amongst us, especially say us as monastics, so coming up with all these brilliant ideas for new and innovative ways to do some kind of construction or create some kind of building, and our project manager, he'd just sit and listen to us. This, and finally, he just said, "Maintenance, maintenance. you, you build something really intricate, and you're just asking for trouble. You build something that isn't really simple or solid, or you're just looking for more work for yourself." And it's just because that's its nature. So it's the and in a human body, I mean, it's just the moving parts are pretty numerous. Uh, there's always something. There's always something falling apart. Um, it's always patching. Especially, I mean, this has been my year of patching my body, so it's definitely reflecting on the limitations of a human body, even when it's healthy. Uh, it's what it is. That ta ta ta. It's it's like this. It's suchness. The, um, or dhammata. It's like there's that word ta is to make in the Pali is sort of like to make a like is it's kind of a way of creating it's like an emphasis or a statement or a way of like Dhamma is but it's and Dhammata sort of like it's a way of Dhamma. Tattata, it's sort of that. It's thatness or suchness, thisness. So like so Dhammata. So it's the way of Dhamma. Or say anicca, it's the way of impermanence. It's or a way of being impermanent. So then we say impermanence. It's a Dhammata. It's the way of Dhamma. But then in say like in Thai language, they say Dhammata, sort of like ordinary, normal. Conditioned things being unsatisfactory. All things being not self. And there is there's a kind of in saying that it's not a judgment in the sense of like a value judgment. It's just pointing to, oh, it's like this, and then how do we respond? Because again, we can say it's like this. It's say the world is impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self, and you can hate it because it's that way, or you can you turn it into this is really worrisome. This is really worthy of being fearful and shaken by. But that's not the point. It's like this. Then it's like bringing it in. This is why, like that application of Dhamma, of the Buddha's teachings, is to give us point of reflection in terms of our how we experience and view the things around us according to their nature, and then respond from a place of balance, because that's again in terms of Dhamma, then it's that response that is balanced. It's being able to hold things in the way so that they, especially that seeing the impermanent, unsatisfactory, non-self nature of the body and of the mind and the internal, external world. The response is one of a balanced response is one of kind of this sense of loving kindness and compassion, but along with a certain, say, kind of discipline. In that sense, we were responding to with kindness and a certain clarity of, say, how do we respond with a sense of lifting up the heart, so that one is, both caring and kind, but also, okay, we need to do something. So there's this sense of discipline or structure, or we've got these tools that the Buddha has given us of our sila, our conduct, having a conduct that is really responsible, recognizing that there's skillful action and there's unskillful action. And skillful action is one that is not harming, it's not taking advantage of, it's not of anybody or anything. It's not being creating suffering for oneself or for others. So there's a discipline in that. There's a discipline in the putting forth of effort. But again, there's a balance in that sense of like effort and relaxation. One needs to, how do we put forth effort so that there's an ease there? How do we respond to the that kind of the limitations of human existence with a kind of compassion and clarity? And so the teachings that the Buddha gives are the means to be able to accomplish that, to do that. So that living in this, embodying the practice. That's why it's so important to keep our reflections, fairly close to us. It's not sort of speculation out into the world, into the universe, into the cosmos. Just reflect. This unsatisfactory, impermanent nature of the body and the mind. It's like this, and the cultivation of our precepts, of our kind of ethical discipline. There's a clarity there that is there's not one doesn't open up room for remorse. One starts opening up a lot of room for delight and joy. cultivating the meditation and mindfulness, really bringing mindfulness into our just into our daily and tangible movement, our conduct, this, so that there's a momentum of awareness that is underlying our all of our actions. Actions and action is say this word, actions of body, speech, and mind. So it doesn't overlook the mind. The mind is still being looked after, but keep trying to keep the practice, in this realm of the tangible, what's close to us, what's our experience, how are we experiencing it, and so then that cultivation of that awareness, and that as the mind becomes, there's that continuity of attention, the mind becomes more clear, more settled, because that's what is really satisfying. And that those elements of delighting in stillness, delighting in silence. And it's not having to force silence on things, but it's more like internally, the mind that's not constantly chattering, constantly assessing, constantly kind of comparing. There's a silence there already. There's a stillness that is there already, and becoming comfortable and delighting in that stillness. And it's that is the basis for this continuity of and recognition of this quality of knowing. And it's the nature of the mind knowing the impermanence, knowing the unsatisfactoriness, knowing this is not self, and that knowing is there's a spaciousness there, and that's where it's just so natural, and of course it gets covered over and gets missed. It gets it's just so easy to get swept up in say one's concerns about the body, one's concerns about the world outside, one's concerns about how one is doing. Am I practicing okay? Am I achieving my goals? These are those are very ordinary tendencies, and one can't just flip the switch and turn them off. But it's more like recognize what surrounds that, what's underneath all that, and what is there is not some yawning abyss of nothingness. There's this quality of knowing, and this is why that, in the Thai forest tradition, it's that returning to the knowing, being the knowing, being the one who knows. And it's it seems so simple, but it and on a certain level it is. It is very simple, but it's hard for us and to to be content with that, content with simplicity. So that learning how to be patient, so that those balances of kindness and compassion, as well as along with that balance of how we discipline or train ourselves. There's a balance that we need to be attending to, in term as a response. How do we respond to limitations of existence? How do we respond to this is not self. There is that sense of that emptiness, what we seek gratification, satisfaction, meaning in. It's see it. Well, that's actually, it tends to be pretty empty. But then how do we respond to it? So the response is again this balance of compassion and discipline, a response of effort and relaxation, of balance, and within that, all of those responses is the knowing, is this quality of being aware, being clear, being still, being and being content with that stillness. That's something that we can be exploring, and how do we get a feel for that? And that's why it's so important to that lifting up the ordinary nature of things, that sabbe sankhara anicca. This is all conditioned things are impermanent, uncertain. Sabbe sankhara dukkha. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. It's just it's the way it is. Sabbe dhamma anatta. All things are not self, and it's at seeing that and reflecting on it with discernment and clarity, with wisdom. But then that sense of having one tires of the kind of, it's like the responses that are based in greed, hatred, delusion. The responses that are based in fear, aversion, fascination, where one is not, they're not willing to be the puppet on the string and constantly responding in ways that are not peaceful, not illuminated. Because it's one of the like when this evening we chanted the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and the teaching of the Buddhas, and that that sense of what vision arose, knowledge arose, discernment arose, light arose, and with seeing those noble truths, seeing things in their true nature, that sense of vision and clarity and light, and that sense of aloko tapadi, said that the heart is illuminated, and being able to see things in their true nature. And true nature is not, it's not complicated, it's not far away. Just sense it. And this is, it's all things, impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. So it's on a certain level of prosaic truth, a prosaic pointing, but the potential is one of liberation and freedom. So that to be able to keep returning to that with a sense of balance in different ways. Those different ways of balancing our internal response and our way of being. So it's that fundamental, grounded in the Dhamma, grounded in these truths. So I'll offer that for reflection this evening.
Sadhu, sadhu, anumodami.
We can do a closing chant. The verses of sharing and aspiration, Volume 1, page 33. And then those who wish may continue with the vigil. Through the goodness that arises from my practice,
may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of illusion not take
Bhagavato